Alright, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the newest release in the Hyperlight universe, Hyperlight Breaker. If you've been following the Hyperlight series, you know it's brought us some unique and beautifully designed games over the years, so let's see if Hyperlight Breaker lives up to the legacy and more importantly, how well it runs on the Steam Deck. Now, for those of you unfamiliar, the Hyperlight universe started with Hyperlight Drifter, an action role-playing game released back in 2016 by Hard Machine. It was a stunning homage to the 8-bit and 16-bit era, blending elements of classic Zelda with Diablo-like atmosphere and combat. In 2021, Hard Machine expanded the universe with Solar Ash, a 3D action-adventure game that retained the same striking art style. And now in 2024, we've got Hyperlight Breaker, a roguelite action game with a third-person perspective. So how does it run on the Steam Deck? Let's break it down. Now, Hyperlight Breaker introduces a mix of melee and ranged combat in a procedurally generated world, which means that every run is unique. The game is currently in early access, so it's still a work in progress. Graphics options are minimal at the moment. Now, shadow quality and other settings are adjustable, but resolution scaling is locked. Unless you use a console command, which I'm showing right now on the screen. I will also link to it in the description. So for some reason, developers have locked this option on the Steam Deck, but with this command, you are able to trick the game into thinking that you're not playing on the Steam Deck, and you can use lower resolutions. To test performance, I started with the lowest settings to give the Steam Deck a fighting chance, and it kind of needed it. Right out of the gate, there are some issues. The art style is gorgeous, staying true to the vibrant, neon-soaked aesthetic of the Hyperlight universe, but performance, not so much. The game struggles to maintain 30 FPS, often dipping into the low 20s, especially during combat or in busy areas. There's also a noticeable sound popping issue, which can be distracting. Now, this is early access, so these bugs might be ironed out in future updates, but for now, it's clear the game isn't fully optimized, at least for the Steam Deck. Now, combat is a highlight, mixing ranged and melee weapon, and there's even a parry mechanic to master. The controls feel intuitive, especially with the Steam Deck's controller layout. However, the inconsistent frame rate makes fights feel less fluid than they should. It's disappointing because the gameplay itself is very engaging. Now, after unlocking the resolution, I tried tweaking the settings further. By unlocking resolution options, I was able to set the game to 720p and enable the Steam Deck's internal FSR, which slightly improves performance. But even with these changes, it's still tough to maintain a stable 30 FPS. The game frequently stutters, especially in larger environments or during action-packed moments. Now, one cool feature is the option to play in a multiplayer mode, which could make runs even more enjoyable with friends. However, keep in mind that the Steam Deck's battery life is limited to around 2.5 hours while playing the game, and if you're planning longer sessions, you need to keep a charger handy. As a roguelike, expect to die a lot. The game emphasizes exploration, collecting resources, and completing objectives like gathering crowns to progress, but the frequent frame drops can make navigating and surviving more frustrating than it should be. Now, there's potential here, and the procedurally generated world makes every run feel fresh, but right now, Hyperlight Breaker feels a bit too demanding for the Steam Deck to handle smoothly. So what's the verdict? While Hyperlight Breaker brings some exciting new ideas to the Hyperlight universe, it's clear that the game still needs optimization, and if you're a fan of the series, it might be worth checking out on a more powerful PC or waiting for some updates to improve its Steam Deck performance. As it stands, the inconsistent frame rate and lack of graphical options make it a tough recommendation for Deck users. But with early access, there's hope these issues will be resolved, and for now, I'd keep this one on your wish list. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed or found it helpful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Steam Deck content. Let me know in the comments if you're excited about Hyperlight Breaker or if you had a better experience or a different setup. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.